What is up, Honey Badger Nation, man? Thank you guys for tuning in. Got myself and Mr. Albie Stasek coming in hot from the 216.
I wish it was hot.
Me too, man.
Colder than it feels like more like Antarctica here. Nothing hot about it.
Man, I know you've got a big day ahead. I would love for you to kind of share kind of what you've got going on and just, give some feedback here to kind of what we're focused on and share with the Honey Badger Nation. And if you guys have any questions, comments, throw them in and we'll get to it. But, Al's got a big day and I want him to kind of share for everybody what they've got going on.
Yeah. So two things we have going on that's we've been working on. One, is obviously we're doing a webinar. Jay's going live. We're testing our when you really think about it, it's our first agent attraction directed webinar that we're actually driving traffic to with the intent of converting, into recruits. So it's a bit of a test. And we actually just hired a company out of Nashville. Literally just got off the horn with them that is going to help us drive traffic, build funnels, make sure that they're working properly, get us going on TikTok, which is the hottest platform right now by far to grow an audience on. And so, we literally just made that commitment today. So we're super excited to really, because everything that we've done, and we were actually just going through this, 5 years ago when we first came on the scene, there wasn't really a whole lot of competition. A lot of the stuff that we got momentum very quickly because there just frankly wasn't a whole lot of other competition out there.
Right.
And, you could say what you want. If you looked at, even if you looked at our YouTube channels 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 4 years ago, like it was abysmal. They weren't even like a good channel, but like, Jay, we just kept piling content upon content, interview after interview after interview. We were just consistent out of the gates with it without any strategy whatsoever. Just throwing spaghetti against the wall and seeing what would stick. And it worked. But what worked then is not working now. So it was just a whole, really process of reiterating on the original strategy, which wasn't really a strategy. I mean, there was strategy there, but it was loose. We knew who our target audience was, but we were really just going out there and throwing up content about the model, about our experience, real life stuff, and it seemed to work then. So we're just excited to get that up and running, and our first crack at that is today. And tonight. Well, not tonight, but this afternoon, 3:00 Eastern time, I'm doing an agent attraction masterclass. And what I've done, I'm just doing it for honey badgers right here in Northeast Ohio. And it's really what I did was I took all of the trainings I combed through like Mike's training, Jay's training, Rob Flick's. Like I literally pulled out what I felt was the most relevant to today. And it's what actually I use. And I tossed out anything that I don't use. So it's real stuff that we're going to be going through for a couple hours up here in our new icon space. And we're going to do a little happy hour afterwards. So
it's exciting.
Should be a good Tuesday.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Some of the nuggets that you're going to go over, key principles, key points in that session this afternoon.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I do have the key points. We're going to be boiling this down to those 3 steps of agent attraction, which is identify your list, engage with that list, and then invite them to something. And so there's simplicity, in describing that, but I don't want to use the word complexity, but each one of those, I'm going to break each one of those processes down as simple as I possibly can so that everyone that walks out of there can literally immediately just start deploying it. Okay. Like I'm going through what I use reach and I use the Honey Badger app. Those are my two primary, tools that I use, or pieces of technology that I use daily. I'm going to show exactly how I use those. I'm sharing text messages that I send on a weekly basis to my hot list. I'm showing how I segment that list. And I work with a very small group of people. Obviously, when you're starting out, you want to start out with a bit of a larger list, and then you'll start to whittle that list down. So we're going to talk about your top 100, how to take the top 100 list, whittle that down to your hit list, and then how to take that hit list and start getting them into the red zone. And this is just the process, that I follow, Jay follows, you follow it, Michael follows it. And then what, follow up is a big piece of this. And no, Hugh, it's not going to be online, but we are recording it. So we're going to have it professionally recorded by Vlad, my videographer, with sound and the whole nine. We'll be, once it's done, we'll upload it into the learning section of Honey Badger Nation. So it'll be available, but not live. So it'll be edited up and polished up and looking good here. So yeah, someone else asked that. Are we broadcasting it? No, the reason we're not broadcasting it is, well, number one, from a local level, I was asked to do this for one of our teams.
Yeah.
One of our top teams, as a matter of fact, the Salem team. They had a bunch of their team members asking about agent attraction. And they said, well, let's call Al and see if he'll do just a little agent attraction training for us. And I said, well, if I'm going to do it for you guys, let's just do it for all the teams and all the agents, single agents, team members, team leaders in Northeast Ohio. And let's just make a little fun event, prior to Thanksgiving about it. So that's what we did. I contacted all of our team leaders in the area. And then, like I said, I've just spent the last week or so whittling out, kind of trimming the fat, out of some of the other trainings that we have, and really just drill down to what's worked best for me. So I think it's a good time. I think it's a great time. I think agents are out there looking for solutions to their biggest problem. And many's biggest problem right now is their business has been chopped by 30-40%.
Yeah. Being able to create demand, which, leads to, really leveraging, the call, that Braden does on Fridays, making sure that you've got that pillar, a funnel, you got some ads, you got some on-demand lead gen to create some demand and opportunities in your business running.
Yep.
And, the thing is, guys, you can go down to honeybadgernation.com, scroll down into the bottom, all of the links and resources to calls, to where, like you said, that third piece is invite. Where are you inviting people to? And that to me is really, focusing on the things within your control, the contacts, the engagements, but how many invites are you getting out per day? And what does that look like for you per week? And then, to me, that's the only way to get people whittled down into the hit list and into the red zone.
Yeah. And what I'm most excited about is just kind of sharing I don't know if we want to call it an aha. It was more of a confirmation. And yeah, I guess you could say it was an observation that I've had recently as it relates to creating content, and how that directly relates to follow-up. Because the number one question that I hear often is on follow-up is, what do I send them? So I'm going to be going through everything I send. And like right now, I'll show you, John. There's my famous whiteboard that I put everything on. And I have 3 of my next videos that I'm going to be shooting on YouTube laid out. Like, I'm sitting here working every day, and all of a sudden, boom, something pops into my head, or I see something that, the competition's doing that gives me a good idea. I run over there and I write it down. And I can tell you that right now, that first video that I'm shooting, it's called "I Was Dead Wrong About Keller Williams." Like, that's going to be a very good video, because it's a true story about how I felt. And what I'm actually doing is I'm edifying Keller Williams, which is now not going to push Keller Williams agents away from me, because people are at Keller Williams. 80% of them at least love being there.
Sure.
So you don't want to go trash on other brands, but I'm going to say why I was dead wrong about them when I was a Remax agent. So I'm just trying to find ways of connecting with my audience in ways that no one else is doing. Plus it's a really good headline. But I know I'm shooting that tomorrow at 3:00. It's already it's going to happen. And the next one I'm doing is 5 biggest mistakes I made when I started my team during a recession. I started my team Stasek group in the last recession in 2007.
Right.
And it was brutal. So there's some lessons there. And then 3 biggest mistakes agents make when they're choosing a team. So these are just, where I'm going back with this is that the content that we are putting out, I'm using that as my follow-ups. Like when I have another video launch or maybe a short or maybe a reel that's cool, that's my next follow-up. Hey, check this out. I just dropped this on my channel. Check it out. Like I'm just sharing value. And so I'm excited to go over that with everybody in the class and get them refocused and not so much on a motivation, because I'm not going there to motivate anybody. But I hope what's going to happen is they're going to have the confidence to walk out of there and just start doing it. Because that's all it is that there's this fear that everyone has that's built up, is that they don't want to send the message. Like, just do it, right? I'll be able to show you what I'm sending. So this isn't me up there preaching like, well, here, I think you should do this because this guy said it. Like, I actually took screenshots from my phone. I took screenshots from my my Reach app, because I'm going to be going over how I use Reach and Rapid Funnel, the Honey Badger app. And I'm just going to share what I'm sending. So hopefully I'll give them confidence to get out there and start rocking it.
I love it, man. Giving them all the tools and everything they need. And then it's just, doing it and, just creating the engagement and really, putting those offers out there. And, one of my favorite, little formulas, and really the formula for anything is, offers minus no's equals yeses. And if we're not getting enough yeses, it's because we're not getting enough no's. If we're not getting enough no's, we're not making enough offers. We're not sending enough invites. We're not having enough conversations. So really making sure to do that. The other thing, guys, right after this call, if you don't have it in your calendar, the Honey Badger app. So we have app training with Rapid Funnel and their team right after this call at 12:30 Eastern. It's a training call that we do every week. They've been on a series. So if you have the app and you're not, hey, how do I utilize it? What am I doing? Get on those calls. It's great. They have a great training. And then there's, the opportunity to ask some questions as it pertains to kind of where you're at with the app. And, all of those calls are recorded. They're in the library on your app. So making sure that, you guys are taking advantage of it. It's like you said, Al, right? It's one of the 2 tools that we utilize in our, growing our organization.
Yeah. Only thing I'm going to add, and I'm going to go through this in the class, but since we're on the topic that I'm really excited to share, is I invested in a content manager about 90 days ago, and she's really great. And I learned, how powerful stories are. And obviously everyone's doing reels now. So everyone knows that, it's all about the reels, but it's also like combining your story, your Instagram story, Facebook story with the reels that you're putting out there. Also combining the story and pushing any new video that you're dropping on YouTube and making them all work together. The new I guess you can call it a digital agency that we just hired. They're going to be focusing more on the TikTok ends of things, because we just haven't even tapped into that yet. I mean, I have some of my stuff going up on TikTok, but there's a huge untapped potential on that platform. But everyone that's out there that's, kind of, stories is a huge leverage point that a lot of you guys are underutilizing with recruiting. Just think of it like this: your audience, the people that you you are connected to on social platforms like that, that would be like, let's say in your top 100 list of agents, just remember, constantly you're talking to them, okay, with your content, with your stories, and they're not connecting to your what. They're not connecting to like, oh, let's join you at EXP. They're connecting to you as a personal human being, checking out your journey. And the more real and the more vulnerable you are, the better.
Right.
So, just I'm excited to connect the dots with stories and reels to how you can actually just use those as more agent attraction tools in your quiver there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's where the relationship starts. And it's just because there's just such a, I mean, it's a lack of trust. And when they connect with you and your stories, your brand, your reputation, does that establish trust? And do they start to believe that you can help them achieve whatever it is they're trying to achieve? And, how is your message just joining the conversation that's going on in their head? And that's where the connection happens. And so just really, and we talk about it all the time, right? It's the attraction side of things. That's how we attract instead of, we also have that element of chase, but it's also how are we creating the content that they believe that we can help them achieve what they want, what they're trying to accomplish. And then they, then they come to us, or they're more receptive when we do have a conversation.
I think where a lot of us are stumbling, and I could completely understand why, like, it could happen, is that we have these own constraints in our brain that are assumptions that are they're wrong. And a lot of those come from the belief that because now we have 85,000 agents that everybody knows like about EXP, and the truth is many do, but there's many that really have no clue. Y'all have to trust me on this one. They really don't. The majority of them have been behind a wall, behind a curtain. Their broker, their brokerage does not want you knowing what we're doing. They certainly don't know what we're doing at Honey Badger Nation to lift our agents up. They don't know. So don't let yourself fall into a belief pattern that will stop you from taking action because you just believe. I'll give an example. And I'm not picking on any one brokerage or anything like that. But, when I was at Remax, and this is why I'm going to be telling this story right here. When I was at Remax, I'll pull the Brent Gove here. I didn't like Remax. I loved Remax, loved the brand, loved my broker.
Sure.
My broker owners were amazing. And they were feeding me because I had an affinity for my broker and the brand. You're sort of brainwashed a little bit, into believing that there's nothing else out there, right? So like Keller Williams came into the market, they came in kind of slow, and then they started picking up some serious traction in Northeast Ohio specifically, where Remax was like the it, and Keller Williams blew right by them, literally, like they were standing still. I'm talking with agents, recruiting. Meanwhile, we as Remax agents were being fed a bunch of bullshit that Keller Williams only recruited non-productive agents, and Keller Williams wasn't profitable, and there was all this. It was
Chatter.
all yes
Noise.
And here's the thing: agents buy it. They buy it hook, line, and sinker. So just understand, like, that's kind of what we're fighting against. So don't let yourself fall into this mindset where you just think they know, because they don't know. Howard Hand is another one in my market. They're huge. They have probably the most market share, and their agents just have no idea, because the brokerage, Howard Hand does one really good thing. They keep building that wall really, really, really high, so no one even wants to peek over to see what's going on. They do a good job.
No, so true. And I think they're in there. It's a relationship for the most part. They're in a place of where they have some trust, and they don't do the work themselves, right? They don't really uncover what it really means, and sometimes they're too distracted, and especially real estate agents, and especially with the shifting market right now, they're they're really, you have to be able to get their attention to where they can see the truth and see really what the facts are.
Yep. And I'll just throw this shameless plug out there. Go find me on Instagram and watch some of the stuff. You're going to see like a big difference between prior to 90 days. It was very cookie cutter, and after 90 days. And just we've taught this forever, John. Just duplicate, swipe and duplicate. Like, don't try to recreate the wheel. Go to other channels too and see like people that have a significant amount of followers and they get like really good engagement, and just do what they're doing. Obviously put your own, your own artistic spin on it, whatever, but don't try to recreate the wheel.
100%.
100%.
No, I love it. Awesome. Well, I know, we're coming up here at the halfway point for us to make that kind of transition and jump over with the Rapid Funnel team. If you guys, the link to the training call with the Honey Badger app is at honeybadgernation.com. All the information, training link, everything is right there. We want you guys to make sure you're jumping in, taking advantage of those calls, and utilizing that secret weapon, that tool that we all have to help us, really keep things organized, keep things on track, and really engage with our, opportunities.
Here's the best thing I could tell everybody. Obviously, this thing ain't going to be coming out for a minute. I don't know how fast we can get this training out there to everybody. We'll do our best. But in the meantime, go in there and look at the training that we have, because it's gold. Look at Mike Reese's. Look at Jay's 10x10. Look at the Rob Flick one. It's gold. There's literally gold nuggets in there.
Yeah.
Go in there and go into Honey Badger Nation right here. Go up into the files and type in agent attraction, and type in 8-step program on inviting, and dig in instead of, obviously, we're all going to eat a lot and drink a little bit too much over the holiday, and we're maybe putting on a couple pounds. But dig in when you have some downtime and just look at this stuff. When else are you going to do it?
Right. Absolutely.
So that's my advice. Parting words.
I love it. Great way to wrap. Albie, I appreciate you, brother, and crush it this afternoon. And we'll see you guys over with the Rapid Funnel team.
Appreciate you, Johnny. Love you, man.
See you, brother. Bye.